ಸಿದ್ದೇಶ್ವರ, ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ಹಲೋ, ರವಿ ಸಿದ್ದೇಶ್ವರ, ಹಲೋ, ಆಡಿಬಲ್? ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಇದೆಯಾ? ನನ್ನ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸೊ not so comfortable or not so clear about the voice.
Sir, clear is it, sir?
So the world economy economic class, that is X and normal.
Sir, voice break ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
Sir, voice is not clear, sir. Break, sir.
No. ಹೇಳಿ.
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್.
ಅದೇ ಇದು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಹಾಟ್ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ನಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೇನೆ, ನೋಡೋಣ.
ಸರಿ ಸರ್.
ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, 8:30 ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ ಥ್ರೂಔಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್, ನೆಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಹಾಟ್ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಅದನ್ನು ತುಂಬಾ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಎಷ್ಟ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಇರೋದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ವೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ economic cost means basically household management, how the people they are going to manage the resources, or this is the study how people choose to use their scarce resources to attempt to satisfy their unlimited wants. Because in the first course you already know whatever may be the wealthiness of the person, at one particular point of time he feel shortage or what you call the non-availability of the, because this economics is mainly tries to address this issue of how these limited resources can be used to fulfill the unlimited wants. You also gone through different definitions for this economics. To start with Adam Smith, who is regarded as the father of economics, who wrote a book on an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations as early as 1776, and is regarded as the father of economics. He defined economics as a science of wealth. So the core importance what he has attached to this field of economics is the how people they are going to create the wealth and how they are going to use the wealth. But later economists, other economists like Marshall, Robbins, Samuelson, they criticized it. It is not the wealth, it is not the end, it is only a beginning. That is why the emphasis has been shifted from wealth to by Marshall. While Robbins, he again shifted that emphasis towards the scarcity issues. He defined this economics as a science which studies human behavior as the relationship between ends and the scarce means or the alternative uses. You can notice here that is resources, they are not only scarce but they have got the uses. These unlimited wants, they are competing for the limited resources that are available with any individual consumer. Later in modern times, the modern economist Paul Samuelson, he defined economics as the study of how men and society choose. That means an individual person or the society as a choose with or without the use of money, that is as a medium of exchange, to employ these scarce productive resources which could have alternative uses to produce the various commodities over time, distribute them for consumption now and in future among various people and groups of people. That means how the people they are going to make use of the different resources produced. So that is why for the first time in the definition of this economics, this Paul Samuelson has included the time element and made it as more dynamic definition more acceptable comprehensive definition for the economics. Coming to the importance of this economics. So as I mentioned, everybody in the society or on this earth needs the information on this economics. So because it is going to provide us the various what you call the information on production area, prices, income distribution, etc., etc. So this is very informative, and it is gives us the mental training. That is how we can spend our limited amount of money, we can maximize our utility, or how the producers can get the higher income from the limited resources by allocating among the different competing enterprises. Then next, this economics also helps to understand the functioning of the economic system. I think that is the seller of income in the economy, because on the one hand we are having the firms, basic production units, and on the other hand households. So provide land, labor, capital, and organization to the firms. So these firms will in turn they will supply back the goods and services. So for remuneration being received in the form of interest and profit by these households, they will be used to make the payment for these goods and services. So in a closed economy, in the absence of any government or exports and imports, there will be 100% circular flow of income within the economy. Now after that, we shall move on to the different branches of this economics. As I mentioned, the traditional way to group the different branches of this economics is into 5 categories, or the groups, or the fields, or the branches. They are consumption, production, investment, then public finance. So wherein a bit of all these things you have studied in the first course, that is how consumers they are going to maximize the utility, and how the producers they are allocating the resources by using that LDMR, etc., etc. And also you have studied about the public finance, wherein how government raises the funds and how it spends for the benefit of the people in the society. Okay, to study the different branches or fields of economics into different parts. While the modern approach to put this subject matter of economics is into 2 parts, that is economics and macroeconomics. So one among them is the agriculture economics. So this agriculture economics is nothing but it is a branch of knowledge which ties these 2 fields, that is agriculture and economics, together. So you know the meaning of agriculture. So agriculture is nothing but it is the literally meaning agera and cultura, wherein how people are going to raise the crops and rear the livestock with an intention of what you call producing some output, having the capacity to fulfill the wants. So in this sense, it is an applied phase. Attention is paid to all aspects of agriculture businesses, just like that of the industry. That means nowadays, this agriculture is also considered as a business rather than a way of life. So when you go through human civilization, how people, they were initially nomadic and later they have settled near where there will be some productive land or the water, so as to drink as well as to raise some crops, and they have settled how that human evolution or the civilization throughout, that is the first occupation that has been practiced by the human being. Then coming to some of the definitions for this agriculture, like that of Professor Gray, who defined agriculture economics as a science in which the principles and methods of economics are applied to the special conditions of the agricultural industry. That means the basic principles of economics, they are applied in the what you call this agriculture, then it's agricultural economics. And there are different branches of this agricultural economics, and you are going to study them in separate courses, like that of production, farm management and production economics, that will be your 4th course, and agriculture marketing, that will be your next course, and farm finance, the present course, and a little bit about this agriculture legislation, agriculture cooperation, that is also again the part of this course, and the environmental economics and resource economics, that is that has been already taught to you only about basic concepts in the first course, as well as they will be included in your last course. So these are the different branches of agriculture economics, and this present course will be on agriculture finance and cooperation. That is one of the branch of agriculture economics that will be throughout this particular session. Agriculture finance. So, as all of you know, finance is a lifeblood of business. That is, if any person want to start a business, he do need what we call that very important factor of production among the basic four, that is land, labor, capital, and organization. That is third factor, that is capital, is very important. That is why modern in times you could visualize or see or observe a lot of business beginning, and lot of businesses are coming up. So for that, this finance is considered as the lifeblood. So this finance is a field that deals with the study of investment, or it is the science of money management. How people they are going to manage the money is called the finance, and it includes the dynamic assets and liabilities over time under the conditions of different degrees of uncertainties and risk, because there is no business which is free from risk. So one risk or the uncertainties that the business are going to be facing. That is why this particular branch of science, that is finance, it is going to study about the dynamics and how people they are going to create the assets, and how they are going to raise the loans that are known as the liabilities. So in one of the practical class, as well as in theory component, you are going to study about the different types of the assets and the liabilities. But for the time being, you just remember this particular science, that is finance, includes how the dynamics of assets and liabilities are going to be managed by the business people. So there are 5 F's of life, 5 F's of life, and finance is one among them. The other 4th includes faith, fitness, family, and friends. So we have to be very careful about the management of all these 5 F's in our life. Okay, so there are 5 F's of life. They are faith, fitness, family, friends, and last one is the finance. Means without faith we cannot live on this in this society, isn't it? We have to have some faith or the belief surrounding people with which we are living. Fitness means the health. Without good health we cannot have the comfortable life. Family, we cannot live in isolation. Our parents, our relatives, friends, then if you grow up, your kids, etc. Then friends. So friends are also very important in one's life. They are going to influence to greater extent, because once across the primary education, then you will be largely attached to some of the friends surrounding you, maybe your classmates, maybe your what you call where the surrounding or the neighborhood people, you will be having that strong association, equivalent, even sometimes more than your family friends. That's friends. And lastly, the finance. So you are going to study in detail about this particular F of life, the last F, that is finance. Now coming to this agriculture finance. So as I mentioned, this agriculture finance is that branch of agriculture economics which deals with studying, examining, and analyzing the functional aspects pertaining to a farm business, because it contained the agriculture and farm, they can be used synonymously. That is why this branch of agriculture economics, that is agriculture finance, we are going to examine, invest, analyze the functional aspects relating to the farm business. So the financial aspects in agriculture includes the capital required for agriculture. That is how much money is needed to carry out, say, the different operations in agriculture, starting with the land preparation, sowing, intercultivation, and taking care of the crop, harvesting, and getting it prepared for the marketing, etc. So at every stage of agriculture, you do need the what you call the finance or the capital or the money. So this again, the way in which these funds are raised and the pattern of utilization of funds so is being studied under this branch of agriculture economics, that is agriculture finance. That is how you are going to raise the funds and how you are going to allocate among the different enterprises are being studied under this branch of science. According to Murray, he defined this agriculture finance an economic study of borrowing funds by the farmers, That means how farmers are going to raise and from whom they are going to borrow and at what rate of interest they are going to borrow, and also of the organization and operation of the farm lending agencies. That is, there are different sources of finance, how they are organized, what is their organizational structure, and how they are going to operate perform their operations, and of the society's interest in credit for agriculture. That is, because this agriculture is relatively less representative. That is why many financial institutions, they are very reluctant to lend loans to the farmers because the recovery percentage is. That's why agriculture finance, we are going to study the how the people or the farmers, they are going to borrow the funds and how they are going to allocate, and what are all the different institutions they are involved in lending loans to the farming community, and also the society's interest. That means every financial institutions, as instructed by the central bank of our country, that is RBI, they need to channelize, lend, or what you call give loans certain proportion. That is about 35% of the total lending should go to the priority sector, because only they are fond of giving loans to some salary people or the business people, wherein there will be relatively greater recovery. Recovery means repayment of the loan. That is why they are not so happily lending loans to the farm sector. That is why how the society, how the norms are there in the society. Society means here the government or the central bank, etc., etc. They are interested in lending loans to the farm sector is being studied. So I repeat once again before concluding this definition. This agriculture finance, it is an economic study of borrowing funds by the borrower, of the organization and operation of the lending agencies, and of the society's interest in credit for agriculture. Thus, this agriculture finance deals with provision and management of bank services and financial resources the individual for units as given by Tandon and Dondal. So they have also written a book on this agriculture finance. They are available in the library. You can go for other aspects relating to this agriculture finance. Now, moving forward, according to during 1987, he defined agriculture finance is not just a science to manage the money, not only restricting itself to only how you can manage the money, but it is an applied science of allocating scarce farm resources to derive the optimum output, because optimality is most the maximum output. That you have noticed in the first course while studying the LTMR, because always the highest level of production is not economically profitable. It is something in the second zone of that classical production function. Again, I'm going to demonstrate you about how to determine that optimality with respect to the input, or with respect to the fund investment, or with respect to the output or the rate that you are going to realize in production activity. So it is not just a science to manage the money, but it is an applied science of allocating scarce farm resource to derive the optimum output. So it is a lever with forward and backward linkages. You know the meaning of this lever. So it is having both forward and backward linkages to the economic development, both at the micro and macro level. Micro means at about, say, a village or an individual farmer or a taluk or a district, only a limited area. Whereas macro means for the entire country as a whole, or at the aggregate level. So it is having that much importance. It is like a lever which can guide the movement of the economy or the economic development, both at the micro and the macro level. Forward and backward linkages. Forward linkage means from that point onwards, how the people or that mechanism is going, and backward this farming is linked with, say, input supplying agencies or the service providers, like that. That means from that point, before that, what are all the agencies and what are all the activities that speaks about the backward linkage, and forward linkage after production, how it reaches the consumer through different agencies like wholesaler, retailer, or the processor, or some what you call other agencies who are involved in the distribution of the things. Okay, now let us move on to the what are all the areas in which or from which perspective we can study this agriculture finance. So before this agriculture finance concerned with purveying requisite finance to all farmers. Purveying means supplying. Requisite means that is optimum quantity of the finance to all the farmers to stimulate and enhance the productivity of farmer resources. That means without say finance, some of the resources they will be kept idle, because say for example tractor without fuel, you need the money to purchase the diesel or the petrol which is used to run that machinery. So that is why it is used to stimulate and enhance the productivity of having the vital and catalytic role in their agroeconomic development. So this agriculture finance can be viewed both at the
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Sir,
host? Who is the host? He has muted me. Okay, okay. I think you have not heard class since about 2 minutes. Okay, okay. I repeat it.
okay, sir.
I'm audible now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So thus this this agriculture finance is just a science to manage the money. It is not just a science to manage the money, but it is an applied science of allocating the scarce resources to derive the optimum output. So it is like a lever with both forward and backward linkages for the economic development. It is concerned with purveying. Purveying means supplying. Requisite means that optimum finance to all the farmers, so as to stimulate and enhance the productivity of the farm resources, having the vital and catalytic role in their agroeconomic development. How people can depend on agriculture and make use of that opportunity to develop economically. Thus, this agriculture finance can be viewed both at the micro level and the macro level. So here micro level means you already know the meaning of this micro. That is like a microscopic view, that is at individual level. So here it refers to financial management of an individual farm business unit and is concerned with the study as to how individual farmer borrow funds from different institutions and how he can allocate among the different what you call the enterprises that he can take up on his farm, like that of crop enterprises, livestock enterprise. Again, under crop enterprise he may be interested in grains, commercial crops, pulses, oil seeds, or some plantation crops. So he is going to study, or this particular branch of agriculture level is going to concentrate on individual farmers, including the future use of funds too, because he will be having some plan in his mind. Next season I am planning to pick up some new variety on my crop, or I am going to start on a smaller scale some poultry unit or the dairy unit, so that they will act as a complement to the other, so that the byproducts of one can be used as an input for the other, so that the cost of production can be lowered. Like this year, not only at micro level, study of this agriculture finance helps for the better use of funds in future too. Then when it comes to the macro level aspect of this agriculture finance, it deals with different source of raising the funds for agriculture as a whole in the economy. Because if you take the country as a whole, there are different financial institutions like that of the nationalized banks, private sector banks, cooperatives, NABARD and their branches, and the private money lenders, etc., etc. How they are lending and what procedures they are following, what rules and regulations they are adopting, and how they are monitoring and controlled by the Reserve Bank of India or Central Bank of India are going to be studied under this macro level aspect of this agriculture finance. Now we shall move on to the importance of agriculture finance. So this agriculture finance, as I already mentioned, assumes a lot of importance in the overall development of the economy, because the agriculture is the mother of all industries. So this agriculture finance plays a vital role and importance in agro socio-economic development of a country, both at the micro and at the macro level. So agro socio-economic, three terms have been are clubbed here. Agro means in terms of agriculture. Socio means because sometimes just having or possessing more amount of money because of the successful piece of the societal development. And okay, friends, it got disconnected because of that phone call. Okay, the second point on which you can visualize or gauge the importance of agriculture finance is it is going to augment the resource productivity, like that of seeds when combined with the purchase inputs like fertilizers, plant protection chemicals. It is going to result in higher productivity of the farm resources, higher productivity of the farm resources. That is why there is a need for the finance or the funding. Okay, friends, as I mentioned, it is because of the unstable connectivity. As I just taking class through the mobile hotspot, the signals are poor. So another 5-10 minutes, I will wind up after covering this importance of agriculture finance. That the internet issue is got sorted, we can plan for the class, or we will meet in the next class on Monday. Okay, so the third point is the finance is needed to create the needed assets and other supporting infrastructure on the farm. Next one is the finance contributes to the reduction in regional economic imbalances. As all of you know, all the regions in the state or the country, they are not developed. There is a lot of disparity. Even Mother Earth has shown that disparity because some of the regions they are highly developed because of the fertility, assured rainfall, assured irrigation facilities. There are regions which are not rainfall facility, soil, land to cultivate the crops. That is why this branch is going to help for reducing that gap between haves and have-nots, or the rich and poor, or the developed regions and the under, so that it is equally good at narrowing down the inter-farm assets and wealth variations. And the last point is, you know that Indian agriculture is still traditional, subsistence to some extent, and stagnant in nature because most of the crops have reached their plateau with respect to the productivity. Hence, agriculture finance is needed to create that supporting infrastructure for the adoption of new technologies. And I'm going to explain you how these new technologies are going to be beneficial and how they are going to help in reaching the higher level of output, and how they are going to also simultaneously helps in saving the cost on the different resources later as the course adopted. At the time being, you just remember that this finance is going to help to create that infrastructure and help to adopt the new production technologies. And the massive investment is needed to carry out the major and minor irrigation project. You can think of just digging a borewell on your farm, or getting water connection for your home, how much investment. Then you can imagine how the government is going to spend that lot amount of money on creating this what you call the needed major and minor irrigation projects, rural electrification, energization, installation of fertilizers and chemical plants, or the execution of the agriculture programs and poverty elevation programs in the country, all do require, that is the lot of what you call the financial commitment. That is why there is a need for agricultural finance. So before concluding, just let me repeat these five. There are many points on which you can come to know why there is the importance of this agriculture finance. I'm going to repeat only these five major points. That is, it is going to assume that vital role and important in agro socio-economic development, and it is going to play that catalytic role in strengthening the farm business, and it is going to ascertain the farm assets and farm supporting infrastructure, and it is helps to reduce the regional economic imbalances and translate itself from the subsistence nature to the commercial nature. Because nowadays farmers, even with 1 acre of land, is not restricting himself only to grow or cultivate the food grains. He can think of some what you call the exportable fruits and flowers and make a lot of money only with 1 acre or half acre of land, then make money. Then he can think of borrowing his requirement of foods or the food grains or the fruits, vegetables from the marketplace. That is why what you call with the assured supply or assistance of the needed finance at affordable on time, definitely going to help the economy to grow, because the economic development greatly depends upon this agriculture. I think in the first dependency. That is why clarify.
Recording in progress.
How this agriculture finance is a part of the agriculture, that agriculture economics is a part of economics. These things we have studied, and how this the special branch of science has evolved, keeping in view the importance of this particular aspect, which supplies that most important basic factor of production for carrying out this farm business activities. So if you are having any doubts, kindly let me know, or else we will reserve the discussion during our next class, because it may be not so clear for you, or the voice is frequently breaking and it is disconnecting time and again. Okay, CR, kindly take a screenshot of the attendance and forward to me as you did in the previous class. So with
Yes,
this,
sir. Sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you for joining the class. We will on Monday. Okay, at
Okay.
2. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye, sir.
Bye.
Recording